let us just go a little bit deeper into conflicts. Now, conflict is a storyteller's best friend. Okay, whenever there is a conflict, you say, oh, you know, this person and this person cannot get along. Then you go like, is it? Tell us more, tell us more. Okay, it's always like that. We are all very curious to want to find out about other people's conflicts. Okay, so what kind of conflicts can there be? Well, a person versus another person. Okay, for example, Cinderella and her stepmother. Was there a conflict? Yes, the stepmother did not like Cinderella. The stepmother made Cinderella do a lot of things. The stepmother shows favoritism to to her own children, the two older sisters. And then what happened? Cinderella was made to do all the housework, but in the end, of course, she got to marry the prince. Okay, so there is a conflict. It's what makes the story interesting. Okay, and if you look at other fairy tales, there are also conflicts. You might want to go and look at all the fairy tales and start to think, what are the conflicts? This against this? Who against who? You know, like for example, Shrek. Who was against Shrek? Okay, for example, Snow White. Who was against Snow White? Now, Grinch. Okay, a conflict can be a person versus himself. Okay, like in the story of the Grinch has this inner conflict within himself, the good versus the evil. There's a part that's good, and he decides, no, I shall not be good. I shall be unkind. I shall be bad. I shall be stingy. Okay, and then the good part says, no, actually, you know, that person is so poor thing. You know, you should show some compassion. No way. Okay, so there is this conflict within the person himself. Okay, and it's something that I talked about before, I think, about this angel and the devil that's in us. Okay, there's these two characters that are talking. Okay, so all the time, like for example, you find a wallet on the road. Okay, and you're in need of money. I think I mentioned this before. I found money on the floor. Okay, one Chinese New Year when I was a kid, I found, I think it was like $50 or $100, I can't remember. It was all gripped and then on the floor, right? And then there's this angel and the devil that's in me. I was a little girl. I'm supposed to be an angel, isn't it? Okay. My teacher says that I have to return money when I find it. Yeah. But the devil in me says that we don't have money in our house. So if I have the extra $100, we can buy a lot of nice things to eat, you know. Okay. But teacher says that I have to be honest. No, it's okay. Finders keepers, remember? Okay, so there is this conflict that's going on. It's all within me. All right. And in the end, I have to make a decision. I have to make a call. Okay, because there's this inner conflict. Okay. Next one, person versus nature. Okay, I talked about it just now. It's about the darkness. Remember, the boy who was walking alone. The conflict is with the darkness. How about this? Jurassic Park. Okay, the character in Jurassic Park must survive in and escape from a dangerous land of dinosaurs. Okay, just like the story of the boy who was walking home by himself, and then the brother was the one who was following him. You can say that the conflict is with the darkness. Okay, just like the story that we recently read about the blackout. Well, the conflict is between the writer and darkness. Okay, and the blackout and the fear. Okay, now some tips on creating conflict. Combine different types of conflict. Don't just stick to one. So I could combine the inner conflict within a person, okay, with another conflict with another person. Okay, so like I am not happy with this person. There's a conflict. There's a clash. Okay, but within me, there's something that's good that says that, no, I should forgive him. Then the other part that says, no, he's bad to you. Don't forgive him. You know, something like this. So try to combine the different types of conflict. Add more conflicts and obstacles if your story seems a bit slow or not big enough. Okay, like the story of the blackout. I created a lot of conflict, the rain, the darkness, okay? All these are conflicts that builds and escalates the emotion and the climax. Now, before you write, know how the problem will be solved. Don't write yourself into a hole. You know what that means, right? Sometimes when we are writing our story, we write and 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 we write. And then what happens? We don't know how to end the story. Okay, so the grandmother story starts to come like a toilet roll, you know. So you write and write. You can't end the story. But in an exam, you have to end a story. Okay, so you know what? You will have to plan. Okay, you must know how to solve the problem in your head. The problem is the conflict. You want to start a conflict, you must know how to end the conflict. Then you write about the conflict. Okay, in between. Right? So remember, don't write with a toilet roll on the toilet roll, okay, never ending. Now the main character must solve the problem. Usually so. Okay, usually so the main character will solve the problem. Don't try to have somebody like a fairy who suddenly appear and problem solved. Okay, sometimes we do have someone else solving the problem, but it cannot be just at the very last minute during your last part at the wrapping and say suddenly somebody came, problem is solved. Okay, try not to do that. Okay.